Hi everyone, this is Samantha Wolf. I am a second grade teacher in Reading School District. I am coming with you for Module 5 with our Universal Design for Learning and our race reading, and also I will be talking about a climates PowerPoint that I use as a presentation and also a website that I created using Google Sites. So, the one thing that I noticed when I was reflecting upon my reading is that when I'm looking at the universal design for learning, is that I do not have multiple means of representation for the information that I'm presenting to my students. I usually speak to my students and sometimes create things like this PowerPoint or Google Slide, which is what the formatting is, to explain different concepts to my students. But this is not something that I hand out to my students. My students don't take notes on this. So this is more just to show information and then for us to have a discussion. Most of my students don't understand without seeing an image or a picture, sometimes a video of the concepts that we're discussing. So I do, when I'm looking at Google Slides here, each of our slides are laid out. So when I am not in presentation mode, my students can see the different headings that I have. This is one that I had created on climates. I did not use this during the pandemic, so this was taught in person. So I have a picture with climate change around the world and different headings. I do usually tend to bullet my talking points and then have my, I can add detail as I'm presenting to my students, but I do not have those notes written down. I also did not do a very good job when I was creating this Google slide because I did not put captions to explain what the pictures are. I just wanted to show them a visual representation of tropical settings. Part of our curriculum is knowing the type of clothing and things along those lines that people would wear in the different climates. I also was not a big fan. I believe I just used a preset for this specific Google slide. I'm not a fan of the white and the contrast. I think it's too bright, and to me, it's very distracting because it's almost blinding because it's so bright. So moving forward, I need to pay more attention to that. This is something that I am normally better at. I did go back a little bit in time and found this specific Google slide to critique or reflect upon. I did like that I have the key terms at the top of each page or each section, and I followed the same type of format. So it's the first three slides are about tropical. We have some key parts of tropical climate, and then I had pictures on the next slide, and the slide after that was discussion about the weather the clothing that people would wear. And then we go into dry climate, again, some facts about it, pictures, and then a question that's proposed again about the type of clothing that a person would wear. So as far as formatting, I did like that I kept the same formatting throughout the Google presentation. On to my STEM website that I created for another class. I have not begun using this in my classroom. I just have not wrapped my head around how to include it at this point in time. This year is quite a chore, as I'm sure all of us are in the same boat. So I have my title page. This was all the formatting was all already like pre-selected from Google Slides, which I really liked. I like the contrast of the dark blue and the white. And then as you go through the different pages, you can see some of the bright, and you have videos embedded. So my students would not be capable of reading by themselves where it says growth mindset. But I do have the different headings and some videos so that the students can understand what is a growth mindset and a fixed mindset, and then a Padlet where they can share their thoughts of how someone could change their growth mindset. And then STEM. I have some links for vocabulary terms. I do like the way this is set up with headings, bold words to help us show here are different activities that people could do. And I feel like they're pretty easy to follow, but I did not add any type of voice memos or anything along those lines. And then vocabulary. Could be popped out and printed for students. I do not have any type of link for this specifically. And then my websites page, I spent a lot of time on. So it has some positives and some negatives, and each one of these underlined headings actually is a link to whatever website we're talking about. So if we're talking about NASA Space Place, if I click on it, it will take me to NASA's website. So I do like the use of the Google sites. It made it very easy to make the Google site website. All of this is formatting specifically from them. I just changed the colors throughout them and made the heading very much offset. I think that's all I have to share with you. Please give me your thoughts and feedback so I can help make this better and more helpful for my students. Thanks and have a great night.